Town Neepawa Council meeting, July 19, 2022. We're going to have a public hearing in just a few minutes, but we're going to go ahead and do a couple of approvals. So everybody's had a chance to review the agenda. Everybody's comfortable with that. We'll go ahead and get a motion on that. Moved by Councilor Bylaw, seconded by Councilor. Not sure what your pen calling. Be it resolved that the Council of Town Neepawa approve the regular meeting agenda for July 19, 2022. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and approve the minutes. Everybody's had a chance to review the minutes. Everybody's comfortable, no errors or omissions. Can I move forward with a motion on that? Moved by Councilor Nadeau. I got your name, please. Seconded by Councilor Dwyer. Be it resolved, the Council of Town Neepawa do now approve the minutes of the regular meeting held June 21st, 2022 as circulated. All in favor? Okay, we can call in. Can we go ahead? Do you think we should wait a couple minutes? Or? Go ahead. I think everybody's here. It's like the same crowd we had last night. So.
Crowd? Where's the pitchforks?
Okay, we're going to move forward with the public hearing, so I'm going to have a motion on that. I can find it. Okay. So we need a motion to move forward on the public hearing. Moved by Councilor Kostanchuk, seconded by Councilor Bylaw. Be it resolved, the Council of Town Neepawa do now open this public hearing to hear representation to bylaw number 3216-22, being a bylaw to amend the Town of Neepawa zoning bylaw number 3184-18. All in favor? Okay. All right. Jeff, do you want to go ahead and tell us?
So this is the Town of Neepawa bylaw number 3216-22, being an amendment to the Town of Neepawa zoning bylaw 3184-18 as amended. General intent of bylaw number 3216-22 is to rezone an area of land in the Town of Neepawa from an ARO, agricultural restricted open space zone, and ARR, agricultural restricted residential zone, to an RM1, residential multi-unit 1 zone, I, institutional zone, O, open space zone, ARR, agricultural restricted residential zone, and the CH, commercial highway zone. And this amendment will allow for future residential development, I should just say future development of the subject lands, and areas affected by bylaw 3216-22 is an area of the land lying north of PTH 16 and immediately east of Broadway Avenue, more particularly described as being part of the Southwest 34 1415 WPM as shown below in the attached map. I'd like to make one note. There was a small wording error in the from portion, which I should have also noted that it is coming from an RSU, which is a residential single unserviced zone. The two portions are all staying the same. They're just a minor error in the notice. Bylaw has been circulated through provincial departments. It has been circulated in the local newspaper on 2 occasions and sent out to neighboring properties.
Okay. Do you have anything that has been sent to you, Jeff?
I had two. Well, I just had some communication from a regional planning office who does the circulation, as well as there's one just from neighboring property owners. Which
So you might have to go ahead and do that now.
I'll do the comments from our municipal relations office, Manitoba Municipal Relations Community Planning Branch. This amendment proposes to rezone the above referenced lands in the community of Neepawa as per the title line above. This file is associated with subdivision 4437-22-8407 and with development plan amendment number 121. Community planning has no concerns. Manitoba Infrastructure, Highway Planning and Design Branch, Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure is requesting that the proposed public road connection onto PTH 16 be aligned or conform to the existing functional plan of PTH 16. All future residential, highway, commercial, and institutional developments shall utilize an internal road network and the new public road. No additional access onto PTH 16 will be approved. Traffic impact and drainage studies, along with a permit for the new public connection, will be required as per our subdivision comments. Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure is requesting a revised subdivision application map and subdivision sketch showing the location of proposed public road connection in conformance with PTH 16 functional plan as per this sketch in Appendix A with our full comments. Historic Resources Branch Archaeological Assessment Services Unit. Historic Resources Branch has no concerns at this time, but at the time of development, the below applies. The proposed development area within the AR areas of RM1, ARR are situated along the upper terrace where the Stony/Franklin Creeks and White Mud River converge, water bodies along which numerous archaeological sites have been previously reported. These factors, to name a few, suggest that any ground disturbances within the area have the potential to impact heritage resources. Therefore, the Historic Resource Branch Therefore, the Historic Resource Branch has concerns with the zoning bylaw at this time. Under Section 12.2 of the Heritage Resources Act, if there is reason to believe that heritage resources or human remains are known or thought likely to be present on lands that are to be damaged or destroyed by reason of any work, activity, or project that is being proposed to carried out, then the proponent is required to conduct at his or her own expense a heritage resource impact assessment and mitigation, if necessary. Prior to the project start, the proponent must contract a qualified archaeological consultant to conduct the HRIA of the proposed location in order to identify and assess any heritage resources that may negatively impact by ground disturbing activities. If desirable, the branch will work with the developer and landowners and the consultants to draw terms of reference for this project. Next, the Mantle Environment, Climate and Parks Water Stewardship Division under the Water Rights Act and valid water rights license is required to control water or construct, establish, or maintain any water control works. Water control works are defined as any dike, surface, or subsurface drainage, improved natural waterway, canal, tunnel, bridge, culvert, borehole, or contrivance for carrying or conducting water that temporarily or permanently alters or may alter the flow or level of water in a water body, or by any means including drainage, or changes or may change the location or direction of flow of water by any means including drainage. All other agencies had no comments or concerns, and there was an appendix attached which just outlined that they had no concerns.
Okay, and you said you had one letter?
There was one letter submitted. We are multi-generational landowners from Neepawa that currently own property west of Broadway Avenue, including River Park East subdivision, and directly adjacent to the proposed agricultural land in Neepawa. To our knowledge, this property has been zoned agricultural land for well over 100 years, since the town's inception. Due to the lack of information available to landowners that will be directly affected by the proposed development and rezoning, we are not in favor to redesignate an area of land in the town of Neepawa immediately east of Broadway Avenue, more particularly described as part of Southwest 34-14-15 WPM, and the proposed amendments for an area of land lying north of PTH number 16. This area should remain zoned as is without any changes. We ask the Town of Neepawa Council and Neepawa Area Planning District to table the following concerns and questions. Number one, can the public participate in public hearings via Zoom? If so, please provide a Zoom link or dial-in number. Number two, will the public hearings be recorded and available to the public? Three, who is or who are the applicants, landowner or owners applying to rezone the property? What is the relationship between the landowners, Zettlers, and the Winnipeg design firm making the institutional rezoning application? Scotland, Murray, the town of Neepawa, and the province of Manitoba. Number five, what are the development plan and rezoning processes? Number six, what is the environmental assessment and impact forecasted to the area? This is key based on the development's proximity to the existing Broadway Avenue homeowners, golf course, Riverbend Park, and High Life Hog Plant. Number 7, does the town of Neepawa or province of Manitoba intend to purchase this land? Number 8, specific to the proposed residential development, what is exactly being proposed? What are the proposed residential lot sizes? If low-income row housing, condos, apartments are being proposed, how many of each are planned? And how will this increase the density to the area? Number 9, is the town of Neepawa offering any concessions, subsidies, grants, or otherwise to the landowner, developer? If so, what? What is the percentage of green space and parks are included in the development plan? What town services will be offered should the rezoning be approved? Water, sewer, garbage pickup? 12, it was mentioned landowners west of Broadway Avenue may be encouraged to connect to town of Neepawa services, water, sewer, garbage pickup. How will this affect existing owner services and taxes? 13, are there any conflicts of interest that need to be disclosed, i.e. are there any individuals involved in approving the development that may benefit by approving the development plan, rezoning, and or developer's plan? Mayor, councilors, family members, or friends? Have all conflicts of interest been considered and disclosed? Some unresolved issues. Proposed development, road access, increased density, low-income row housing, condos, apartments versus single-unit families on larger sizes. Increased traffic noise, lack of architectural guidance, low-income row housing. Decreased standard of living and property values to existing homeowners on Broadway Avenue. So if you have any questions or wish to discuss the matter further, please contact us. And submitted sincerely by Lauren and Myrna Kynes.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Okay, I guess we'll open up to the floor. As I think you all know, we'd like you to state your name, and if you can keep your comments concise, that would be great, because it looks like maybe there'd be a few you don't want to talk, so whoever wants to step up first, you're more than welcome. Good.
Mike Boyle, 390 Broadway, and was here last night, and appreciate that the council has taken the time to listen to what people have to say. It's very particular to us who live in that neighborhood, of course, and that's by and large why we're here. So we did have concerns. A number of them have been presented in the letter that you read about low-income or multi-family dwellings and that sort of thing. We have concerns about it and the density situation, traffic flow, and all of that. So that was mentioned last night. Now, you know, I think it was a good discussion last night, and I can't speak for everyone here, and I'm sure they'll get up and speak for themselves when I may misspeak, but I think that this is your first reading of this amendment. Is that correct?
There actually is going to be calling.
First reading was already given because the process established by the province of Manitoba to get these things towards to a public hearing.
Could you say slower? Because I don't think as fast as you.
So anyway, so there's a process required by the province of Manitoba to get these things to the point of public hearing. So first reading is given, it goes into the province and it gets circulated to all of the provincial departments, and Jeff has read you their comments.
Right, okay.
So after that report comes back, then it comes for public hearing. We could give second reading tonight should the council decide to do it, but we did not put it on our agenda. So there will be no second reading.
All right, so I guess my question would be, I know that this has to come forward today because it's being published and the public expects what you say to be done. So my question to you is, before it goes to another level, would you have a chance for an amendment to this?
Oh, absolutely. Whatever council so decides after they hear all the evidence tonight and
Okay.
after their decision.
Well, I think, speaking at least for myself, I hope that you'll consider looking at single-family dwellings along there. My concern is that the town will lose the opportunity to control the development out there by going ahead with this as it is. And that a developer will come in and say, this is how it's zoned, so therefore I can do this. And in my opinion, if you leave it as single residential ownership, it doesn't mean you couldn't change it down the road. You could still, in my opinion, make it nice along that road, single-family dwellings, things like that. It doesn't mean that there's not room and space further back for other options that might be suitable. I mean, there are many people in this world who would love to have a nice condo along a golf course, etc. And I don't see that as a bad thing, but I think along Broadway Avenue, if you end up trying to put in a whole pile of people in multi-family dwellings, I think we're going to have lots of problems, and I think it'll take away from the lovely area that it is, and it could still remain to be and still meet the needs of Neepawa. So, I hope that you'll consider looking at an amendment to this to single-family dwellings in the next chance you have. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else?
Sure. Neil Turner, 475 Broadway. Part of this single dwelling over multiple, prime example, what we're looking at, which I've argued with you guys since day one. It is a junkyard and nobody does anything about it. And if that's what you want up there, then go with your double, but or multiple. But otherwise, single dwelling is the only way to go because we have that mess already. That was my property. I sold it. Some guy put up what he put up, and if I had known what was going up, it wouldn't have gone up. But I didn't know that at the time. And so it really burns me because nothing's been done about it. I've gone and cleaned the place up myself because nobody else will do it. And you guys really, really need to think about that because, and I've told you before, first place people come when they're going to golf or when they're coming to camp, they see that. And now you want them to go up and see it again and again and again. So it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, this place, the guy needs to be held accountable, and he hasn't been, and that's on you guys. Sorry, that's not on us. That's on our council, and that's why you're here, and that's what you're supposed to do. But nobody's done anything. And Denis and I have talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. And you can send all the letters you want to this dude. He ain't doing nothing. And so if you want that to continue, then you're going to have that when you get up into that area, which is a beautiful area. Multiple is going to be that again, and boy, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And I have some other comments, but I'll just leave that for now.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Anybody else?
Ernie Sador. Yeah, just to follow up on the comments, I'm not going to go into it in depth, but I want to encourage the town to consider the comments that were provided. I do have the same concerns. I don't think I have to go through the whole thing, but we can do this right and make everybody proud of what we do. So with the fact that we have single, at least we start off, yes, we have opportunities to look at it down the road, whatever the case may be. But for the time being, I think I would be very discouraged if we didn't go that route. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ernie. Anybody else?
Colin McNerney, 397 Broadway. Jeff, can you clarify, you had mentioned something about the agriculture or the residential area was RS2, single family housing, and was changed from that to RM1, multiple? Is that correct?
Well, that's what is proposed. There is a strip on the, I guess it's the east side of Broadway. I can't recall exactly how far, but there is a block of land on the east side of Broadway that is currently zoned RSU, which is the same zone as what is like around Phoenix Drive in that residential single unserviced zone.
Okay.
So there is currently a block of land that exists, and the proposal was to have it all to RM1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the proposal was to change the single family to multi?
Well, just to make that whole parcel consistent, yes.
Or could it go the other way, the whole parcel being single?
Well, yes, yeah, it potentially could, yeah.
But I think that's what
the
you're
council
hearing
have to
from
consider.
everybody here.
Yeah, that's,
That, go back to the single
Yeah.
for the entire
yeah,
parcel.
it probably wouldn't be I'm assuming instead of an RSU, which is unserviced, I imagine it would go to an RS, which would be residential single.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and the opportunity is there on select specific proposals for multi-unit buildings at a future date.
If it was in RS, or like a residential single?
Yes.
Like if the plan got changed to an RS, yeah, well, definitely, yeah, like if a land proposal comes in and a developer wants to propose more, then this is the process we would follow again,
Yeah.
right?
So it
Based off that.
sounds to me the better flexibility is to go to the single and flex to the multi on a specific proposal, rather than go the other way and have somebody come in and say, well, I want to, you know, this is a multi-unit, so, you know, or area that I, you know, want to build a, you know, a large development.
I don't know if I would comment personally if that's the right thing. I mean, that's what council's decision is to make, right? Not mine.
Well, it seems to me that,
We look at it as a zoning perspective when we do it, and try to foresee what, we know that a lot of requests for developers, and some developers are looking for land and they don't develop because they don't see developable land, right?
yeah,
So I guess we took it as an opportunity as putting a proposal forward to have some. And this is where the process comes into play, and the process works because, I don't know if I'll say works. In my world, it works because we put a proposal out there, it goes to the public has their opportunity to speak.
right.
And then council can make their decision off that.
I think we're kind of leaning towards RSU and then make some adjustments later on if we need to. Thanks.
No, thank you. Anybody else?
Mike Wilson. So highways won't let no more approaches go on the road. So if the hospital goes there, we're looking at Broadway being one access point.
I don't think that's ever been determined that the highway would not let another access on.
Didn't Jeff just say that earlier in
No.
the meeting? In that letter? That the highway will not. Hey?
Is that for residential?
With the subdivision has proposed access to Highway 16.
Read what it says. What does it say?
I'm just looking at it.
Just to clarify, I know Jen's looking it up, what it is the hospital will be granted an access on PPH 16. Right now, they're just conferring amongst themselves between highways and shared health of the province of Manitoba where that access is going to be. So no, Broadway will not be the access to the highway, or for the hospital.
So they will have their own access,
Yes.
but that still is an access
The
point.
hospital will have direct access to the highway, yes.
So what that letter said isn't what?
This is a zone, like, there's two different applications. Last night was development plan amendment, this is zoning bylaw amendment tonight. When the original subdivision application that went in, which is 4437-22-8407, which is cited in that letter Jeff read, there will be a bylaw that will come forward to be passed by council for 3 readings to grant access to the PTH 16. Right now, though, and it has been surveyed out at a certain location, right now the province is dealing with the Department of Highways to determine where that location is actually going to be, whether it be further to the west or further to the east in a line with, across this way with hydro office. So there will be definitely an access on the PTH.
Okay, but the letter that Jeff just read,
No, I think there's just a little misinterpretation to that. if
I
Jeff
think
wants
there
to
is,
clarify.
because
It
then-
has to
I could
align
be
with
wrong,
functional
but
design.
then not,
The access proposed is the only one that would be access to Highway 16.
Lined up with the
Yeah,
subdivision
exactly. But
application.
yeah,
yes.
there would be no other
But
approaches.
nothing additional.
No, that's right,
it.
no other additionals onto Highway 16.
so there's gonna be an additional,
There's one proposed
highway.
onto Highway 16.
do we know where that's going? We don't know where that's going.
Well, it's
It's up for
It's
discussion with
still in
highways.
discussion, not at our level, it's with the province of Manitoba and shared.
That's what's a great
So
thing.
unfortunately, we don't know that answer yet.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, is there any comments from council? I guess I would just say what I said.
If I could speak for just a
Oh, yeah,
second.
absolutely. Yeah.
I own a piece of property directly east of an access road, across the way to the quarter to the east. And the rumor has always been running around that this road's coming through my yard. And so I've sat on pins and needles for the last 6 months even. I've sat on it longer because High Life wants a road through, never mind the hospital. So, and I go, and nobody can say anything, nobody can tell you anything, but I'm directly involved and I know nothing. Nobody's come to me, nobody said nothing. So I guess my question is there a road going through my yard? I need to know because it's my place.
Yeah, and I think that's the most difficult thing I've learned, Neil, in my 4 years sitting at this table, is that we are put in this position to have information, unfortunately, that we're not allowed to share, or we don't even know the information yet. I mean, this whole thing with this institutional property, I mean, I've signed a non-disclosure agreement, Murray, so we've all, the government of Manitoba has left us hanging here, and I know I'm saying it on camera, but it's true. And it makes it difficult for us to make comments that are not going to put us in legal jeopardy. And I guess I don't know what to say to you, but that would be something that I can say about it.
Not at this time.
And I apologize.
Well, how many times have I heard that?
I know. And I
A lot of
apologize.
times, I know. Yeah.
And I do.
So you put yourself in my position,
No, I agree 100%. If I was you, I'd be pissed.
because it's
Yeah. I know.
BS, sorry.
No, I know.
I've been there 22 years, I moved to this town from Eden.
I know.
Love the town, found a beautiful spot, and now somebody wants to put a road through.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, whatever. But nobody's come to me about anything, and that's what gets me more than anything. Not necessarily you guys or whatever, but some government guy. All I get surveyors and, no offense, Dan, nothing to do with you. This is where I live, and this is my place, and it'd be kind of nice if somebody said something about something. Because Sheila and I sit there and kind of go like, and the rumors around town are just like, yeah, there's a road going through your place. And
I do.
so where does that, where does that put us?
Yeah, I do apologize.
You don't have to apologize. It's not you. I'm just getting some frustration now because I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants my property, write me a check.
Yeah. And we'd like to have a hospital announcement too.
Wow.
It's not a jail.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Sucks.
Okay, I guess I'd just like to end by saying, what I know some of you are is that, I appreciate you guys coming out. I agree exactly with what Jeff said before. You guys are exactly what we need to make decisions. You're here giving us good advice. You're telling us what you believe. That's great. That's the way it's supposed to work. As Colleen said, the second reading has been taken off the table tonight. So that's, what we've heard. We're going to discuss what the future is right now. Right now, before us, we do have this bylaw, but it's just at its first reading, and yeah, we are going to have a discussion and move forward from there. So thank you.
Still no cookies.
Okay, I guess we're going to close this meeting. So moved by Councilor Barrett, seconded by Councilor Collins. Be it resolved that the Council of Town Neepawa do now adjourn this public hearing at 7:30 p.m. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're going to go back into our regular meeting. You guys can stay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming.
So our next meeting is not for a month, but we all heard you, so thank you very much
Thank you.
for coming.
Okay, we have another representative here that wishes to speak. We have John Rodman from the Neepawa Area Disabled Persons Association. So, John, you want to come? You can sit in the chair if you want.
Doesn't matter.
You can stand, whatever you're comfortable with.
Well, you really want to just move me? Yeah. Here, about your bylaw for your...
Just, excuse me, just.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, go ahead.
Okay. About your vehicle for hire bylaw, I was representing the handyman committee. We not opposed to this. Actually, we're putting together an RFP which will have these rules in it. My only concern is our active contractor right now doesn't have this class 4. So once this goes into effect, I'm more concerned about our clientele will have no after hours or weekend runs with that. Because he can't hire someone to do that and make any money with that at what we're at. So basically that's my biggest concern. I had no concern of having a class 4, that's not an issue.
Okay.
It's just that there's some clientele, and when the hospital phones, he won't be able to do it. Then there's no other service to look after. My concern is for the clients. At this time, once we get the new agreement done, and then that can change too, but.
So when, just so I understand that, John, when could any agreement be?
I don't know. Right, and I guess once we get it organized here, which we're hoping here within the next month, but we, yeah. So.
Okay, all right, any questions from council?
I think with,
Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Costello.
I think I think what he's saying, just because I also sit on the board, is they were more concerned with when the bylaw is, if the bylaw is approved, that it is effective immediately.
Okay,
And now is that an understanding? They just wanted that clarified, that that driver will not be able to drive
okay, all right.
effective immediately if that bylaw goes through. There's no grace period because it does affect
No,
somebody who's already in
you're already
position.
at third reading.
Yes, we are. Okay, okay, I appreciate it.
The other, I guess, is, well, for clarification, is after your bylaw, if you approve it, is then the drivers will have to come and present their class 4 license to get a permit. This is kind of how it reads.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
That's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
that's.
really busy though, I wouldn't expect we'll be out of the gate horribly quickly, but.
Yeah, that might be a little.
You seem to have a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a chance to say when you first came up, John, I want to say thank you. I mean, I know you've been part of the association for a lot of years. I know it goes back to your father. I know Ray Drazen is the same way, so I just want to say, you know what, the town appreciates everything you guys have done over the many, many years, so. No, thank you for that.
No, just trying to look out for the clientele, because it just kind of ties our hands, we can't help them out. And there's a lot of people like their parents on the weekend or whatever, if they're having a family event, you know, and need a ride, it just makes it hard.
No, I appreciate you coming and telling us.
Yeah.
Okay, no, thank you.
All right, so appreciate your time.
No, that's great, thank you.
I'd like to call for recess.
Oh, okay. So how do I do that? Do I have a motion? Okay, moved by Vern, seconded by Darrell, we're going to have a 15-minute recess. Okay, we are into council reports. We're going to have a council report tonight. No?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, we have our clinic meeting Thursday morning. And so we are looking for additional people for the clinic committee from the RMs as well as from the town of Neepawa. So if you know of someone or feel you are someone, to contact our chair, Arnie Susky. And last night at the planning board meeting, we dealt with the rezoning, which we've talked about already tonight, and it was well attended as it was tonight. And I'm glad that we had a tape, so started.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mary. Anybody else? Councilor Direct.
Yes, I've got one. This pertains to public safety. In an effort to combat recent increase in thefts, the RCMP and town are partnering to launch the hashtag 9 p.m. routine. Nightly reminders at 9 p.m. will be posted on social media reminding residents to remove valuables from vehicles, locked residences, garages and sheds, turn on exterior lights and activate alarms and security systems. It is hoped that residents will share the information with friends, family and neighbors to ensure everyone is following the same routine. It is our hope that this will soon become habit to do 9 p.m. checks. Watch for posts on the town Facebook page, share the posts, and be sure to do your own 9 p.m. routine.
Thank you, Darrell. Anybody else? Okay. Manager of Operations, Denise.
Well, there's been some construction action, so with a big delay in the bridge work at Park Lake, work has commenced again. We are doing the head walls and the concrete girders have started showing up. So the first 3 of 6 showed up this week, and then the last 3, I believe, if they're on schedule, are supposed to be delivered tomorrow. So they can commence construction.
Okay, perfect.
Hopefully get a bridge back there.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We had a pre-tender site visit for the Park Lake reconstruction project. We had a good turnout. I believe we had a few late stragglers, but I think it turned out to be about 15 or 16 different contractors showed up. Or individuals showed up, sorry, so that'd be about 7-ish contractors. So we stuck around there, a lot of questions asked, a lot of questions answered. I think we'll do an extension, we'll probably issue an addendum to this week to extend the close for another week, just so contractors have a little more time to compile the bids on that project. I did a walk through the RCMP today. Everything's progressing nicely in there. We're looking at a few issues that need to be fixed up, but work's progressing, and I'd say everything is on schedule. That's where it should be, so there's a few delays, but nothing that's too major at this point. We've had posted 2 different jobs right now, so we posted one for the cemetery, just to do a full-time position there that would float into Public Works for the winter. So we're reviewing applicants on that right now. And we're just in the process of posting a term position for the water treatment plant, as we have one of our employees on a leave right now for medical-wise. So we can find an applicant to fill that position for the term. Scenic work, we've commenced again working on doing some boulevard work in preparation of Mantle Hydro showing up to finish off the last of the commercial sector streetlights. So we'll keep chugging away at that. And we've also done some landscaping and some boulevard additions to the residential portion. We'll look at whether the soil is compacted enough to start some of the sidewalks within there as well. And I'd just like to offer a friendly reminder that there's to be no campers on extended stay on our streets. Without a permit, you can be subject to fines. We'd like to get the RCMP to contact you if we find that you're staying there excessively and you have not relocated your camper, because they are, again, somewhat of a danger because they're blocking our fire access if trucks need to get down some of our narrow streets. So I'd ask the residents to please relocate their campers to a more suitable location. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Can you just go back to Park Lake for a minute? So I think it was always our understanding, our hope that maybe this project would get completed, within the next year, but I understand now that with supply chain issues and other problems going on, that probably will be extended a little bit.
It may. And all likelihood will stretch over into next year. But with the close, the contract or consultant firm that's handling this have left it up to the successful bidders to provide their own schedule. So we'll see if that aids in bid numbers, but also time schedule.
Okay, I guess it would depend how much they can do during the winter. Right?
Yeah, they've got some deconstruction and ripping apart that they can do. In essence, they could decide to do all the concrete work in the winter if they were to do it all in. Big job, but it's doable. They just cannot construct any of the burn structure within winter time.
Okay. Anybody else with some questions? Marty?
Do you know anything about the Orange Lodge donation to the bird sanctuary?
No, I do not.
It was in the Mid-Coast Tribune. Specified they gave to the Neepawa Bird Sanctuary.
Oh, was that some group that's kind of
Yeah.
closing down or
Yeah,
something?
the Orange Lodge was closing down, and they gave to the Russell Cancer Care and Center and.
No, we're not aware here.
And then we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you if you did.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Just a question, things are still, I still get inundated regularly. What's tennis courts and things like that, like we've got a pad that's in place?
Everything's prepped up. I'm in constant communication with Maple Leaf. They wanted to make sure that we still wanted them to pay for us. I assured them yes, because they've officially started turning down all business right now. They're not taking on any new work as of beginning of July. There's just so much out there. And everything's just already so delayed. So when speaking with Zach, that he's reaffirmed several times with their head office that they have to come here during the warm weather due to the different paving style with New Commerce Street. So that should secure us still for August paving.
And we discussed at one point things that we could do with our recently created one-way street. After we had to remove access to the highway, is there any more talk what we can do with that right now, or are we just gonna leave it as is for the remainder of the summer? You know, we had talked at times whether we could look at basketball nets, or pickleball nets on there, or, because we've got some of those pieces in place. Is there any chance that can still be done during summer holidays? And
Yes.
okay,
I tried to get going on that one, now that we've lost our rec director to
yeah, I know it's not.
maternity leave. Congratulations to her, but, no, we've got everything in play. I tend to be booked with Pat Barnes tomorrow to stop by the site visit of that approach we removed.
Okay.
So as long as he's happy and as long as we can conclude a solution with Mantle Hydro for that pole placement, we can commence work on those courts.
And it's gonna be a basketball court, right?
Yes.
And I'm not sure I submitted with the CAO another potential use. We have the Neepawa Town group, which is actually the Philippines' national game.
Okay.
And they are looking for some court space. What they're looking for is 2 poles in a net and some painted lines where they can have a court space. And I've assured them that the town does not own any indoor, but I've submitted that, and just if we're looking at other uses for that area, they require minimal to no expense on the town's part. They're looking to start teaching people how to play, and there are nationals and there are international tournaments that they would like to start seeing that develop. So,
What's it called?
Sepek Takraw.
TAKRE.
I'll share it with you, Mark.
It's really hard, actually.
It's not.
I'm gonna play here. They're gonna let me come play one of these times.
I'd like to watch that.
Volleyball with your feet.
Yeah.
It is? Oh, there, I got it. Volleyball with your feet.
Yeah.
Well, my foot's never going over my head.
Maybe
Play
one. Okay, thank you, Denise. Okay, and as what Denise just said, Nicole Cooper, our Director of Recreation, I think there is a report here that Colleen's got to read, but congratulations to Nicole on the birth of her 3rd baby boy, and she'll be on maternity leave for a while now, so congratulations to Nicole and her husband.
So, having said that, we actually were able and fortunate that Heidi Nugent has agreed to be our fill-in for the term. It was difficult to actually fill it because terms generally are. The candidate pool is a little slimmer because he wants to, get a full-time job for a year and then not have a job. So Heidi actually started, she came a day when Nicole was here to learn the ropes, and she started actually yesterday, so it was good. As far as candidate, I do have a budget here, but just to give you the summary, the revenue that came in was roughly $8,900 from donations and whatnot. The expenditures to run the day was $20,844.23, and that of course included the $10,000 we spent on fireworks. We topped that up, considering the last few years we didn't have any. So there was a deficit of $11,944. From that deficit, though, we still have to claim there's a $7,000 payment outstanding from the Mantle 150 that we were never able to host as well. So in the end, it was a phenomenal day, and we think we were in the hole then, maybe almost $4,000. So that was pretty decent. And thank you extend to all the volunteers that helped make the day run so smoothly. We had nothing but really good comments. The pool for our swimming lessons, we're currently on session 5 out of 10. We did have a couple of issues more recently with the pool foulings that caused havocs in the lessons scheduling. So best we could, we rescheduled and made sure we had everybody happy, at the end of the day. The Blue Dolphins will be having a swim meet on Sunday, August 14th, and the pool will be closed for the public to allow for that meet. The water slide has arrived, and it's stored at Public Works for installation in the fall, so we're working on the logistics of getting that done. New sound system speakers have been installed thanks to the Youth Advisory Committee for the $300 grant to purchase those speakers. Looking in the area of parks, the Storybook Trail has been installed around the flats. It's funded by Assiniboine North Parent-Child Coalition, and the stands were created by Men's Shed, and they did the labor for free. Just a little story behind that. When they reached out to get them done a little more commercially, it was going to be phenomenal, like tens of thousands of dollars to get these little platforms with wood structure so you can put the storybooks in. So the Men's Shed took it upon themselves to do it for nothing, their labor of love, and Nicole took them out for lunch one day as their payment, and they were more than happy for that. People might have noticed as well, the dog park, the committee did pick a contractor and has started construction at the compost location in the north end of town here, and they hope to have that completed mid-July, and there's signage ordered and installed for the opening of that dog park. And they, just so you all know, they're calling it the Bark 40. Next to the back 40 over the Our cultural Mantle 150 mural has been completed and installed at the flats. The total cost to install that was $12,000, and of course there was grant funding allowed to have that happen as well. The remaining money from the $20,000 grant for that project will be used to offset the Canada Day, so basically that $7,000 that I was suggesting would come towards Canada Day. As far as grants, investing in Canada for the bike park, we've had to do some Aboriginal land consultations. We have done our contacts, and we submitted those contacts into the Government of Canada. We're just waiting for go-ahead to be able to start construction up there. We were able to order some trees and do things, but we seem to be getting stalled on this one, so we have taken the opportunity to make sure they understand that construction season on a bike park, you know, it's not an indoor project, that we really need to get at this before our trees die. Because anything we do in advance of getting that ultimate approval, they're not going to fund. Signage mock-up for the funding announcement is submitted to the Government of Canada for approval. So, building sustainable communities, Google reports, getting quotes from local contractors for earthwork and piles, as I mentioned about getting the work done on the slide. Courts will be paid by the end of August, and 2 pickleball and 1 tennis. Working on our tower trails as well. I think people are aware of that one as well. We've got engineers' drawings done. We're hoping to get at those as well, and we're looking at the number and the cost per towers. And we also received a grant for the fall of 2022 and the spring 2023 programming from the Assembly North Parent Child Coalition. And they will offer parent and child programs 2 times a month during the week for parents with kids under the age of 5. It's free to attend. There'll be information, crafts, snacks, etc. Day camps are in full swing. There's roughly 8 to 12 kids a day, max of 16 daily. It's hosted at school kids or schoolhouse. So if there's any kids still interested, I'm sure there are a few openings left.
Okay, sounds like Nicole's been doing a lot. Very busy schedule, that's great. Comments? Okay, thank you. Okay, Colleen, is there anything on the RCMP quarterly report we should know about?
This is the one, the stat one I don't normally bring because there'd just be a lot of numbers to read out and dry.
Yep.
So this is the narrative one they do on a quarterly basis. So just so you know, there were 3 stationary check stops set up in the Spruce Plains area during this reporting period, and the reporting period of April 1st to June 30th. There were also numerous roving traffic patrols and gravel road patrols throughout the Spruce. I have a few days off, and I'm not very fluent here. The town of Neepawa had 1 subject fail a roadside screening device and received an immediate roadside suspension, and 2 other subjects in the Spruce Plains catchment area were charged with impaired driving under the criminal code. And I guess there's been a long time since they've charged impaired drivers in the area, so whether that's an increasing statistic, I don't know. 156 traffic tickets have been written in the whole catchment area, and 27 written warnings, and of those 39 were written in the town of Neepawa. Regarding offender management is a program where few subjects whom are believed responsible for a significant portion of offenses and are on court-ordered conditions such as a curfew are given frequent checks by police to ensure that they are abiding by the conditions. The objective is to have the subject comply with conditions or face consequences thereby reducing the overall crime. During this court, the Spruce Plains area had 8 offender management files opened. There were 14 curfew checks performed. 2 of these subjects had since moved away from the area. 1 subject was found not to be complying with conditions, and a warrant was issued for their arrest. Another subject was found to be breaching conditions after only 2 checks, and a warrant was obtained. That subject has since been arrested and held in custody on multiple charges. There has been an increase in subjects being charged for failing to stop at the stop signs within the town of Neepawa, and a noted increase of theft, specifically theft of fuel and vehicles in the whole area around here. The RCMP continue their regular visits with the town office, and they just noted that they participated in controlling traffic in the Filipino Heritage Parade on June 18th and the Grad Parade on June 25th. The only thing I would note about those parades is even though the streets were barricaded, a significant amount of people still trying to drive down the street in the middle of a parade. I think we can do better than that around here, and somebody's gonna get run over sometime. So there's currently 2 vacant positions in the Spruce Plains area, and Sergeant Morehouse's replacement is going to be Sergeant Dave Taggart. He is currently posted in Wagon, Manitoba, and should arrive in Neepawa by September. At this point, though, for the other 2 positions, there is no replacement named. I won't speak about the 9 p.m. routine because Councillor Gerard did that one.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. Okay, we're going to move forward into finance, and we're going to pay for the accounts of June 2022. Everybody's had a chance to review those checks. Everybody's comfortable. We're going to move forward with the resolution. Moved by Councillor Trafford. Seconded by Councillor Puddle. Be it resolved that we approve the accounts for June 2022 totaling $1,532,170.65 as reviewed and representing checks 2022-00891 to 2022-01133, but excluding 2022-0908. All in favor? Councilor Gerard, speaking for contact. We're going to move forward on the home hardware check. Everybody's had a chance to see that. Can I get a resolution on that? Moved by Councilor Trafford. Second by Councilor. Be it resolved that we approve check number 2022-00908 for June 2022 to Home Hardware totaling $1,395.89. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we are going to go into, I got one more account today.
Financials.
Oh yes, financial statement. Sorry, we have the June 2022 financial statement. Can I get a motion on that, please? Moved by Councilor Parrott, seconded by Councilor Kosmachuk. Be it resolved that we approve the financial statements for the month ending June 30th, 2022. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're going into unfinished business. We have a mower purchase. Denise?
Yeah, so,
Oh, first, okay. Sorry. Councilor Guys will bring us up.
the next 2 items are basically their improvement of the capital budget. So we seek some quotations on some mowers. We had staff demo out, so at least they understood what the performance of the units was like. And that's where we make a recommendation to purchase a unit from Mantle.
Okay. Okay, can I move forward with the resolution on it, unless there's any comments, questions? Okay, moved by Councilor Kosmachuk, seconded by Councilor Puddle. Be it resolved that we approve the purchase of a JD Z735E zero-turn mower from Mantle Brothers for $10,677 plus tax. All in favor? Carried. Dean, you said there was a second one?
Yes, and just like the first one, we test drove one from the Major Group as well. So we test drove a Toro Titan, I don't even have the exact 7,000 series. Same thing was in the capital budget, so we may slightly exceed, but we'll look at the sale of a used unit to accommodate and hopefully balance that out. So we're going to make a recommendation for purchase from Major Group.
Okay, we're going to move forward with that resolution. Moved by Councilor Kosmachuk, seconded by Councilor Nadeau. Be it resolved that we approve the purchase of a Titan W Cooler 7000 series mower from Major Group in the amount of $7,999 plus tax. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we've got to purchase a wayfinding post. Is that you, Colleen, or Denise?
Hi.
Okay.
So as part of the cemetery remodel, relook, one of the comments we heard was wayfinding units so that we could find section and range markers quite easily, either be for staff or anyone visiting. So we put quotes out, some design ideas, and came back and forth on a few of them, and made the option to go with Wind Brothers locally here. We've exceeded our purchase number, essentially because we were a little worried that some may come cracked, or they'll break over the years, or get damaged for some odd reason, so we want to ensure that we have an ample supply of replacements in stock as well. So we believe we'll need 34 at this time, but we're rounding the order up to 50. And this will come with engravings as well for a price of $21,000 plus tax.
And installation?
We will take care of installation with coordination with Quick Brothers.
So just to be clear, maybe to add to that, if people are wondering what wayfinding capable of the cemetery is, it's within the cemetery. It will mark off the blocks and plots and whatnot. So say you went up and you knew your loved one was buried in a certain section, you know, AD, whatever, plot, whatever. By just looking around at the wayfinding signage, you can narrow it down at least to the area, and then you just have to walk that length to find your loved one. So you wouldn't need a map necessarily.
It's a great idea. Okay, we'll move forward with a motion on that. Moved by Councilor Constantine, seconded by Councilor Pedlo. Be it resolved that we approve the purchase of 50 polished black granite wayfinding posts from for the Riverside Cemetery in the amount of $21,000 plus tax. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we have an active transportation study. Colleen?
So you may not have a lot of information on this. The program that came out is a federal program that basically is an active transportation fund that is the first federal fund to target active transportation. So $400 million in federal funding is going to be available in 5 years to support a model shift away from cars and towards active transportation in support of Canada's National Active Transportation Strategy. So the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, Infrastructure and Communities is responsible for the Permanent Public Transit Program Active Transportation Fund and wishes to provide Neepawa, by application that we sent in, $50,000 towards this. We basically met the selection criteria for this, basically because we're a growing community and there is a need here, and we qualify for funding under the program. We do have to carry out the project ourselves, and that funding is basically 100% support for the full project cost up to $50,000. So we just need a resolution to show that we are engaged and we would like to proceed and accept the funding and create an RFP to get a consultant to do a formal document for us to talk about how we can improve and what avenues we're open to us.
Okay, sounds pretty straightforward. A motion on that? Moved by Councilor Bill, seconded by Councilor George. Be it resolved that the town of Neepawa enter into and execute a contract with the Federal Department of Ministry of Intergovernmental Affairs, Infrastructure and Committees to receive funding for the active transportation study, such a funding to cover 100% of the study to a maximum of $50,000 with a completion date of March 29, 2024. All in favor? Carried. Okay, we're back to the third reading of the Vehicle for Hire bylaw. Does anyone have any comments on that before we move forward? Yeah, Councilor Doe.
You know, I think as we vote on this bylaw, I'd like to know when exactly we feel it should come into effect fully.
Okay.
About what time are you going to vote? It's effective upon council vote.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I think we heard from Mr. Podger when he was here before, and yeah, I think it's still, you know, we should move forward with this third reading and have it on the vote. And, you know, we can discuss later where any leeway can be given on this request. So, anyhow, I think we should, there's no other comments, we'll move forward with that motion. Moved by Councilor Pedlo, seconded by Councilor Perry. Be it resolved that bylaw number 3218-22, being a bylaw of the town of Neepawa to provide for licensing, controlling, regulating, and safety of local vehicles for hire in the town of Neepawa, be now read for a third time and passes. This is a recorded vote. Yes, thank you. All in favor? That is a unanimous vote. Okay, we are down to other business. Anybody have anything they want to say tonight? I want to talk about rain. Councilor Constantine.
I had some residents approach me this week, and I did assure them that I would bring this to council on camera. They were very pleased that in the water bill they get reminded to cut their grass, keep their yards up, etc. But they would also like the town to follow that same regard. So I have several photos that they had sent me, and they would like me to do this publicly because they feel that the town is not necessarily doing their job properly behind West Park Place, behind the water tower. There's a lot of photos. I went out and I visited with a couple of them, and I did a there is, and I did contact Denise, and he's looking into it, so I just wanted them to know that I did bring it publicly and that.
Same day I looked, they were turning.
Yeah, so they do have some concerns. There's a lot of wood piled there. There's a lot of scrap stuff, and they are more concerned with fire hazard because they took me, actually I went and walked where the fire hydrant is, and it would be really tough, I think, for a fire truck to get in there, just the way it is situated now. But I have brought it to your attention. Hopefully
Perfect.
it can be resolved.
Sounds like the process works, if Denise says he's already
Yes,
done it, so that's great, so.
so thank you, Denise.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, that's it. We will move forward with adjournment then. Moved by Councilor Bylaw, seconded by Councilor Constantine. Be it resolved, the Council of Town Neepawa do now adjourn this regular meeting of council at 8:16 p.m. All in favor? Carried.